Way. All right, we good?
Yep.
Cool. All righty.
Excite.
Much excite. So we have.
Oh boy, we have 63 people live now. Welcome
Sweet.
everybody.
All right, that's a record already.
Oh boy.
First of many today. Here's my water. Look at that. Thank you, Vlad.
Oh, you're welcome, bro.
So you have Vlad in the corner there, guys.
Hey, what's up?
What's
where
up?
am I looking?
It's right there.
Right
Yeah.
there? Hey.
Yeah. So I figured we could just introduce ourselves here right now. So we're Data Realms, as you can see on the fancy vinyl banner there. We made Cortex Command over a long period of time, and I started that in high school in, what was that, 2000, I don't even remember, it was 14 years ago or something, you do the math. And I built that game over a span of that long. I didn't do it full-time that whole time. I started it, and then I went to college. Well, I finished high school in Sweden, and then I went to college, and then I had full-time jobs, and I went to do all these different things. Went to college again, dropped out again. But eventually, I had a job in the AAA games industry as well. So a couple actually, and I learned a lot there too. I was a tools engineer at Rainbow Studios. So all those things taught me to do things with Cortex Command that were more advanced than I had set out for it to be. You know, I mean, it took me, like I said, 13 years to actually get it to a point where I feel it's a complete thing and it's a project that is out there. We are actually putting out updates for it as well, though. So it's still, so it's not like it's dead in the water, but I have personally moved on to the next project, which is what we're talking about today, Planetoid Pioneers. And we're super excited about it because that is also a long-term project. We worked on that for 7 years by now, and that has been full-time. That's not like something that I went on and off. It's been full-time not only by me, but by other guys on the team who work with me on the technology, and they're basically a lot better than I am at programming and art and music and sound. So when I started Cortex Command, I had this idea. I was going to do everything on my own, like art and everything, and it would be like my baby. I was a bit of a control freak, I guess, or something. I realized very quickly that I was not the best artist, so I found an artist to work with who is Arne Niklas Jansson, a super talented guy. Very lucky to be working with him. He's right now working on art as we speak in Sweden for us for the Steam launch that we're about to have happen here in about 2 weeks. So we'll talk more about that in a second too. I want to just give you kind of an overview of the parable of what we've gone through in the past and what I've started as, which is kind of a solo game developer with a vision of, I want to make this game that looks like Lero but has a lot more depth to it, and you know, and it has everything in it. And this is the mistake that everyone who ever has a dream about game design or game development makes, is that you bite off way more than you can chew, and I certainly did. It just took me that long to chew it up, I guess. I mean, I don't want to beat that analogy to death, but so yeah, it's been a long journey. I started out as a solo person, and now over the span of 13 years, I've actually had the fortune to find all these people that are way better than me at all these different aspects of not only game development but also game marketing and publishing. I mean, that is something that is often forgotten, right? We have it's so easy to just be focused on, oh, I'm just gonna make an awesome game. Are you also gonna make a living off of that? Because then you have to think about marketing. Then you have to think about getting it into people's hands. There's you know, whatever game you make, as long as you make something that you're passionate about, there's going to be other people in the world who are also passionate about it and enjoy it. The problem is they're not going to know about it. They're not going to find it unless you actually put it out there and do a good job marketing, which is a whole separate skill set that I'm not the best at. I've found that out the hard way, trying to do it myself with Cortex Command. So now we have people on the team like Vlad who are not only marketing and PR, but also business development, and he's been with us for 1 year full time, 2 years like since we started working. Yeah.
It's our my 1 year anniversary working
with Dan. Yeah.
And it's been quite a ride. It's taken me over like 15 countries, and I'm actually here now in Phoenix for this this crazy month before launch. 2 more weeks left.
Yep.
We got our good buddy Drew over here behind us as well. Drew,
Yeah, you can see him on the low webcam.
Yeah. So he's going to be helping us with this stream, and of course this is the first of many. I mean, we'll be streaming daily between like the peak Twitch times, which is from what I understood about 12 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's about 9 p.m. to about midnight in Central European time. And obviously, the main thing that we're going to be doing is these weekly special broadcasts where we summarize all of the cool stuff that has happened during the week before that broadcast. So this is the first of 4 more. The next one is going to be next Friday. It's going to be 1 hour later from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central European Time. And one of them is actually going to take place live at PAX East, where we will have a booth and showcasing. So if you guys are planning on coming to PAX East, we will have a treat for you. Before that, though, we need to focus on the launch on Steam Early Access, where we will be launching our Contributor Edition. And this is something very important, Dan.
Yeah, so the Contributor Edition is a concept that I think a little background beyond just my career and so on is good to cover. As far as the games that we've made, Cortex Command was, and by the way, let me know if the audio for the music is too loud, so you guys can tell me, or you can tell me when they tell me. Oops, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to go here. Oh, it's fine like this. Anyway, so Contributor Edition is a special edition of Planetoid Pioneers that we're actually launching in the 2 weeks from now, and we call it the Contributor Edition. And we priced it a certain way that seems weird at first, maybe, and hopefully we can explain it to you guys why we came up with that idea. Cortex Command was an early access title. Our last game was an early access title that we did before early access was even called early access. It's something I got the idea from some guys in Turkey who did Mountain Blade, another indie title, which was very successful with it. They just put it up on their website before it was done and got feedback and got money. You know, people paid, they saw the vision and they paid to have early access to this game. I got the idea from them and did it for Cortex Command. I put it up on my own website for less than it was going to eventually cost. And I was surprised. I needed to because I was in debt, pretty deep debt at that time. After having quit my job, I burned through all my savings to keep making the game, and I just needed to solve that problem, right? And I was super surprised and humbled how many people would trust me and the vision and see the vision to actually open their wallets. This was in 2008 or something like that. Maybe even before that. No, it's about 2008. And so it worked. It was a crazy idea, and it worked. I was able to pay off the debt and actually keep working on the game. I was basically funding the project and the production of it. Some other things that saved me later on was being in the Humble Bundle. We were in the second Humble Bundle for Cortex Command, which was also a financial lifesaver for the project. But the early access thing, the concept worked, and people got really involved and engaged, especially since the game was very moddable, which I made it very data-driven for my own purposes. I wanted to make it easy to put new stuff in there. Turns out everyone else thought it was easy too, to some degree, and they started making stuff, and this whole modding community sprung up kind of by accident. I didn't really plan for that. But I was obviously delighted, and it was awesome, and it's given the game legs for years and years now, where the official team hasn't really worked a whole lot on it since we've shifted over to Planetoid Pioneers. But the modding community and the workshop integration that we eventually got into it for Steam got all that juicy content going so that people could play it for a long time. So what I'm getting at is that early access was a proven concept eventually, and Marcus Persson Notch of Minecraft fame actually got the idea for early access from Cortex Command, which I can't take credit for the idea. Again, I got it from someone else, but that's how they found. Ooh, we have a kitty, visitor. My cat just walked in here. Say hello to Charlie, guys. a little break.
Charlie likes to.
He likes his belly rub.
Yeah, and he likes to sit and lie down in our pathway. So every time I get up from this chair, I have to watch out for a cat mine.
Yeah, exactly. He's big and fat.
So guys, we're just getting in some feedback real quick. Sorry to interrupt.
Please do.
So Soze is being very assertive and telling us that the volume is about 20 to 30% too high on the game. So
on the game,
yeah. Did we fix that, guys?
Did we? No. Did you just fix it, or like how long ago did you say that? Because I can totally change that. I'm gonna
2 minutes ago.
I'm gonna make it a little lower. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
and more
hopefully.
importantly, make sure to follow us, guys, because this is not the first time we're going to be showcasing what we're doing here. We're just starting out. Any feedback that you guys have, please feel free to shoot it. We want your unsalted comments. This is actually the first time we are trying to stream for such a big audience.
Did you say insulted or unsalted?
Unsalted.
Okay. I like it.
I like
unsweetened, you mean? I think.
Unsweetened.
Yeah.
Right. Salted and.
That's good.
No, it's a Dutch saying to say unsalted because.
Good. Everyone knows the Dutch.
Yeah,
you know that's.
So
Vlad is Dutch. Yeah, you guys will have to live with that just like I have for a couple of years now. And there's a lot of weird sayings that he kind of spits at me, and we'll just have to
Thanks for
roll with
follows,
it.
guys.
Yeah. So anyway, back to my long-winded, rambly story, is that early access was something that worked for us, and it's a cool thing, I think. You know, it's been controversial. There's been ups and downs in terms of successes and good examples and bad examples of it, right? I'm very pleased with how it worked out for us. You know, we're still in business. We're still making games after 13 years. We have a fan following who really get the concept of it. Now, with Planetoid Pioneers, we want to do something that actually pushes the envelope beyond conventional early access, which now has been formalized on Steam. You know, it is a formal process now on Steam that a lot of games to go through it, and people understand how it works. We're gonna mix things up a little a little bit and try to stir the kettle and maybe cause a little more controversy. We'll see. That's not our intention. That's not our goal. But we also know that it is going to be a thing that happens. You know, we're trying something new, and it is an experiment. So, you know, it's exciting for us to see how it will pan out. You know, whether it'll fly or fail. You know, financially, if it'll fly, you know, critically, so to speak, we'll see. But what we're doing essentially, and this is where the contributor edition that Vlad mentioned comes into play, is that instead of a modding community, we want to create a contributor community. And the difference there is that a modding community kind of implies that it's something that you guys get to tinker with afterwards. When you're making a mod, you know, the developer's already tossed the finished game over the wall, and you guys get to tinker with the content, which has been, you know, a tradition in the games industry for a long time by now. There's, you know, ever since Doom and Quake and so on, and earlier even, mods have been around, but it's been an afterthought usually. What we're doing now is from day zero, which is 7 years ago, as far as the Planetoid Pioneers project and the Crush 2D engine that it's built on, which we'll talk about more as well. It was built with the intention of not just having you guys, being the players, tinker with stuff after the fact, but it's to involve you in the game development process much earlier. So instead of just in early access ask for your input and verbal feedback on an early version of the game, we're actually going to put tools in your hands that are so powerful, because we've worked on it for 7 years and I have a tools engineering background and so on. We polish these things to a level that is probably better than any developer would actually make for themselves if they're just going to use internal tools, because you can hack together something quick and just make it work. We've polished these tools to a level where they're kind of consumer grade, I would say almost. They're better than developer grade, and they are not watered down in any way. So they're consumer grade in the sense that, or I would say commercial grade, maybe that's the way to call it. You know, like something like Photoshop or Unity is another good example. You know, Unity is a tool set that's made for game developers, professional game developers, and aspiring game developers. and it's not watered down either. You know, they try to make the tools as powerful as they possibly could, and that's in contrast with something like Little Big Planet, which has a console. And you know, and I'm not ragging on Little Big Planet. They just did something different. You know, they made tools that were more what would you call it, like mainstream friendly, right?
Yeah.
So we already won an award for Planetoid Pioneers before it's done and so on for best hardcore game, and I think that's very apt. We are trying to make a hardcore game, and I think especially the people we're targeting with this contributor edition is extra hardcore, because we are inviting them, and only them, honestly, to use these tools that we have built to not only give us the verbal feedback, but actually realize their ideas and feedback in actual content that they would be building and putting on the workshop. And we would then go through all the best stuff, you know, that gets voted up to the top, and put the best stuff into the game. And the creators of that content would get credit in the final or complete game at the end of the early access period. So we're changing the early access period from just being about getting feedback from the community into something where the community actually gives us actual real content alongside with us. So I'm not saying that the community is going to build the whole game for us. We have, you know, during these 7 years, we haven't only built tools and so on. We have designed a game, which is Planetoid Pioneers, and it's more than just a tech demo. You know, it's got some very unique and interesting game mechanics in there that we will be showing off, and it has enough content in there to set a tone for and a standard of quality, I would say, and a visual direction and an audio direction for this game that will eventually become a complete experience at the end of our early access period. So what I can just say right now is that the contributor edition is for people who are interested in joining us in making the official content for Planetoid Pioneers and building it alongside with us during this early access period, which will at least be a year or so. I don't foresee it being less than a year. So we haven't nailed it down, and we're only going to exit early access when we feel that the game is actually ready and polished to be a really good experience that stands on its own legs and isn't just a tech demo. So for us, it's important to convey to whoever is interested in just a game, just a good experience that is polished and awesome and has a lot of cool hand-built content. Very little in this game is going to be procedurally generated, if anything.
Everything's going to be handmade, right?
Yeah, pretty much. The map might be procedural to some degree, but that's a separate topic. But pretty much at the end of the early access period, there's going to be an amazing game that emerges from that. And if you are only interested in a game and a cool experience that is made not only by the Data Realms official team, but also by our contributor community during this early access period, you should wait till the end of the early access period to buy it, because not only will it be good and finished and complete, whatever you want to call it, it'll keep expanding after that, of course. But
so Dan, now that we've gotten
let me finish that thought for 1 second. Yeah, there's just the last thing. Part of that is that please wait. Please put it on your wish list if you don't feel like building anything alongside with us. So the contributor edition is all about the folks who want to create with us. And
people are wondering what we're actually talking about. So maybe it's good to just start showing.
Yeah, let's do that.
Instead of telling. And
Absolutely.
one more important thing. So we have a lot of people actually watching us, and I'm sure that I'm really curious. We need to interact with them, of course.
Yep.
How many people of you guys have actually heard of Cortex Command? And if you haven't, please let yourself be known.
So that seems to be working. Excellent. Yeah, so I'm sure people are going to be typing in the chat about that. Do we have any audio right now? I don't hear any audio. Let's see if we can get some going. I don't hear anything from the game.
That's a good point, Matthias Wallace. Wallen, we want to avoid making some of the mistakes that happened with Cortex Command. It was a very organic development to have that game, get a modding community, and all that kind of stuff. So
Did you set
with
it up in the
Planetoid
scene?
Pioneers, we do want to manage expectations better. And
Maybe the game
we
just
had a
stopped making sense.
4.4 or 44 Metacritic with Cortex Command because we did early access before early access was even a thing, before you guys even understood what to expect from it. And now early access has, once again, changed into something completely different because of how the developers have treated that. So we want to push the envelope and we have to remove that ammunition with some people who might think, oh, you're selling a game that's not finished. Oh, you're making you're making people work for you. That's not the case. We want to allow people who get the contributor edition to have a much closer contact with us as the developers. We are the first ones to admit that after staring at the technology that we've been developing and we continue to develop, we most likely are not going to be the people who are going to make the most creative stuff in this game. It's going to be you guys. It's going to be you exploring the editor, exploring the toolkit, and coming up with the realizing the potential to bring your creativity to life, and not just give us feedback in terms of comments and reviews, but actually be able to say, you know what, I think this robot could be better. I'm looking into tutorials. Here's my interpretation of what this robot should be, or here's my version, stuff like that. Let's see, I got some questions over here. Well, our fan base does understand early access, Cavern Lake Yo.
All right, so we're just actually, let me turn.
So, hey, Umbra, that's a good question. The contributor edition will be $39.99 US.
So we have the, So let's not go into the pricing quite yet. It is an interesting topic that we'll talk about, obviously, very soon. And now we have the game running. Perfect, beautiful, and Vlad is gorgeous in here too. Look at that. Look at him.
Stop.
Majestic. Yeah. So good. Here, let me just show you a little bit. Let me clear my throat without the mic on.
Cute. Very cute.
All right. So now I spared you guys having your ears blown out. So Planetoid Pioneers as a game, I can talk about a little bit where we're trying to go with it. And this is the title screen, as you guys can see. Clearly, we have some creatures just killing each other, and we'll talk more about the physics engine and so on in a second. As you saw, we zoomed out and now have this asteroid belt, which is going to only be growing as we create more planetoids and the contributor community creates more planetoids and uploads to the workshop. I'm going to ask Vlad to tell me if the guys on the chat think it's too loud in the music.
Yeah, can you guys just let us know if the music is too loud, please?
Yeah.
It's a bit loud.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. Got it.
We'll reset it. No problem.
we got it down there. Cool. All right, so we have this asteroid belt that we can visit all these different planetoids. When the game starts up for the very first time, though, our plan right now is to have it start on this largest one that I'm going to load here, and we're going to have a little bit of intro for that. It has a that doesn't work. It has a whole video going for it to actually introduce the context for this planet. So each of these planets have its own little game mode and rules for how to progress through it and defeat that planetoid. And I keep saying planet, it's actually planetoid. I should get that right. So in the future, we are all going to be old people because of medical technology. So we're going to live for a long time. We're going to get tired of Earth, and we're going to venture into space with the use of technology like reusable spacecraft and very advanced 3D printing tools, so that we can have fun, essentially. I mean, can you imagine living for 200 years? Your bucket list is going to be completely done, right? Like, you're going to have done everything on Earth and you're going to be bored. So why not just go out and have some adventures in the asteroid belt, which is right outside the orbit of Mars. And again, if it is too loud, just let me know. I can make this a little lower. So, as you saw, we crash landed on this planetoid. It's a 2.5 kilometers in circumference. It's quite a large one, and it has a lot of area inside of it that is all dark and unexplored now. So we're stuck here in kind of a Robinson Crusoe scenario. This guy's ship blew up for whatever reason, and he had to do an emergency landing here. But he's fine, even though he's marooned on this planet. He has these tools where he can absorb resources by just using his atomizer here. And I'm collecting metals, carbon, silicon, and water. Those are the 4 resources in this game. There is a 5th one, which is kind of the 5th element. It is energy. We call it arium, and it's kind of like some kind of gold plutonium mix. You know, we're going for a simplified. We didn't want to have the whole periodic table in here, but metals, carbon, silicon, and water are the 4 things that you build everything with, and you can absorb from your environment and things that you come across. So as you see, I'm absorbing the shipwreck of my landing capsule here, my escape pod.
Just a bit more volume.
On what? The sound?
Yeah, just about 10%.
Okay. And so when I do that, I can then turn around and build whatever I want with these resources. So I'm going to cheat and give myself all the blueprints that we have in the game. When you start, you will actually have very few blueprints, just a few for your survival. But to demonstrate here, I want to show you guys when I pick one from my list of different blueprints, I can place it and then build it, just spray those resources onto that physics-driven vehicle now that I can then drive around and use in this completely closed cave, which is probably not the best thing to build in here, but I just want to show you guys when I jam the wheel against the wall, you might notice that it actually becomes not round anymore. And this is our physics engine at work. You know, the fender came off and it's not very useful in here, so I can just jump out and start atomizing it. So I can recycle all those resources that I put into that really crappy vehicle. I can then absorb again and build whatever else I want. So I can build a more robust one, which actually can climb walls too, which is kind of fun. So I ran out of resources now, so I'm going to cheat again just for demonstration purposes and keep building this guy. So we have this climber rover that is a lot more expensive in terms of the resources, but it can actually climb up walls. You know, I can engage the spikes, and it uses the jets to kind of push itself against the wall. So I can go all around here, which is very handy, right? Like compared to the other one, but it was also that much more expensive. So this is just to give you guys an idea what the gameplay is going to be like. And as you can see, this vast darkness inside this planetoid is completely unexplored. So if I go over here and start clearing out this rubble, that fuel tank just exploded. So that's the thing you need to actually watch out for. You know, fire in space is very dangerous. I don't know how many of you guys saw The Martian, but there's a comment in there about how, you know, NASA makes everything completely fire retardant because it's extremely dangerous with, you know, pure oxygen and so on for a fire to spread in space, and it is here as well. But as you can see, as I'm running around here and looking around, the cave complex is being revealed to me, and so you can see how much room there is in here. So this primoid, which is the large one that you're going to kind of start on, is an example of the type of gameplay we're going to have. We call it an action exploration game. So you're going to be using these vehicles and blueprints and tools and even creatures that you're going to come across as you explore this planetoid. Ooh, this is not working well for me. And then when you come across something, you can actually absorb it and get its blueprint from it. So you start with very few blueprints, but you start collecting them as you're progressing through the world and collecting things. So once you have a blueprint, you can then build the thing that you came across if you also have the resources, right? So those two things are prerequisites. Here's a kind of a broken rover. I can go into it, drive it along. Oh, there's a creature here that I just kind of face planted into. And there's all kinds of flora and fauna in here that I can absorb and get, you know, carbon and water from, if it's organic matter mostly. And if it's robots, then, you know, or some kind of mechanical thing, then I will mostly get metals from it. So, and silicon perhaps in the glass and the circuits or whatever. And when I've absorbed something, you know, I can go into the fauna category here and just build one of these plants. And why would I want to build a little dinky plant on the ground? You know, maybe that is food for some carnivore that lurks around the planet and you know, it distracts the carnivore. So, you know, this game is also, and it's an action exploration game, but it's not a shooter game per se. We do have weapons in the game. There's definitely tools that are weapons, like proper, you know, shotguns and rifles and all that stuff. But it's not the solution to everything, right? Like, so if we have the tool category here, as you can see, we have a whole bunch of stuff that I could build and just pick up. So I have a rifle, I picked it up, and I can shoot these things. I can shoot my vehicle and mess them up. And the physics, you know, again, will be in effect. So if I shoot it enough, it'll cause damage. If I shoot it like a heck of a lot, it'll actually catch fire because it added heat to that object. If I shoot my vehicle over here, you'll see how it actually breaks the vehicle dynamically. And this again is our physics engine in play. I don't think I can drive this vehicle anymore. I actually broke it enough that it won't work anymore. So I'm gonna have to pull up another one, and I can, at the same time as I'm building that one, recycle the old one. Now I already built it quickly enough, so, but you can actually do the same, you know, both actions at the same time. So as you can see, I'm using the rover to explore the interior of this planet, and again, this rover is, it's so crappy that I actually broke it. The whole rear wheel came off, which is beautiful. I'm actually glad that happened, so I could, you guys could witness the crappiness of this thing. So we will then build something slightly better. Again, we can go for this one, which is perfect for this scenario. And this is really what the game, a big part of the game mechanic or the game play from minute to minute will be, is building the right vehicle and the right tools for the job at the moment, right? You're gonna come across all these challenges and all these scenarios that you have to solve, and that's going to be where you have to think, like, what do I have in my toolkit? What do I have in my blueprints? You know, this guy can't fit down this hole here, so I have to just, well, if I hadn't fallen down accidentally, I would have recycled the resources in there. Fortunately, you know, I have the cheat on, so we have all the resources we need. But again, we can pick up this gun and shoot things. You know, different objects have different materials, so you know, the effect of shooting the boxes on top of there was pretty dramatic, while this one just gets dented as I shoot it. If I shoot the bridge, really nothing happens. However, if I put down the gun and start atomizing the bridge, you'll see that it has a dramatic effect. I get the resources out of it. I also would get the blueprint, which I already have because I cheated, but it does break down that bridge, and I can then rebuild the bridge if I wanted to. So structure are other things that you can build. You know, it's part of the fun. So what's up, Vlad? I hear you.
I timed out Gracchio, who's one of our community members, which I actually wanted to make a moderator. See, this is like first stream problem.
Oh, fun.
Right here.
So you timed him out. So you punished him instead of awarding him.
I fixed it in like 2 seconds.
That's funny.
So, but yeah.
Friendly fire.
Yeah, friendly fire.
I see some people are referring to Starbound, and as you guys know, like, you know, we've been like we just mentioned, this technology has been in development for a long time. Dan has had the idea for this game for over 7 years.
Yeah, and let me credit that correctly. So Arne Niklas Jansson, our artist, made a kind of a concept art for a mashup between Metroid, Tribes, and Excitebike, I believe. And that inspired me so hardcore. That he made that in 2007, I believe. And then we started up the project, like, we have to make this game now. Like, he just put together this super cool, inspiring thing, and this is the result of that. So sorry I interrupted you. I probably broke your whole train of thought there. I just wanted to make sure.
No, not at all, not at all. So I'm just posting a link to what Dan is referring to. So if you go to that link that I just posted, you'll see some of Arne's cool stuff. How he takes his own art style and then reinterprets existing video games. And you know, we've been severely inspired by his work, but also just by the mechanics from games like Blaster Master. And I'm not sure if any of you guys still remember Exile, which was an old BBC micro game from the 80s.
Yeah.
That was far beyond its time in terms
It came
of
out, yeah, totally. It came out the same year as Metroid did, the first Metroid on the NES. So, and it had physics and particles and like all this kind of stuff that blew our little minds. But also, you know, even today it blows our minds. So you can check out YouTube playthroughs of it. And it's amazing. So that's a huge influence on this kind of action exploration. As you see, like,
so Dan, just real quick, because of time,
sure.
We do actually have like some special surprise guests for you guys, and I want to bring them in. But there's one important thing that you guys have not yet seen, which kind of delves into the contributor edition and our technology that we've been developing over 7 years. How do we save and share the things that we actually make in the game?
can we talk about that later, or should we talk about it right now?
We should talk about that now. You got 5 minutes.
All right. So we got 5 minutes to. Well, first of all, we have to talk about the whole creation thing. So, like I was saying before, the tools that we built everything in this game with, and you'll see how little of this planet we've actually filled out for now. And this is what we're going to be doing during our early access period: is ourselves, but also with the help of the contributor community, fill out this entire planet, make it a cohesive experience, where the surface is kind of like the Zelda overworld. And these cave systems, sprawling cave systems, are like dungeons. And we do that with these tools that we can live edit anything you see in here completely on the fly. And nothing, like someone mentioned Starbound, right? That's a tile-based game. Starbound is a very, very cool game, but it's all blocks, right? There's, again, nothing wrong with that, but we really enjoy the fact that we have the freedom in our engine here to use any image that we want. We can drag in anything we have on our hard drive and use it, and it's just an image. It's a PNG file that has an alpha outline, and it uses that automatically to use as collision. So if I want to build an obstacle here for me, I can just put that thing right there and shape it exactly how I want it. And when I'm done, not done, but like if I'm ready to play test it, I just unpause the game. And everything that has happened in the editing phase will now, be live. So this rock is like, oh, it's hard to get over. I can play test anything that I want right away, and it just works beautifully right away. So, like you saw, there's literally no blocks. There's no constraints on shapes or sizes. So it's a really fun environment to be working in, and you can shift the shape around, so you don't have to make a unique texture for everything. But that gives you an idea of the power of the scenes. But literally everything else you've seen in here as well in this engine or in the game so far was also built with these tools. And when you, we'll dive a lot deeper into this, but when you build something in here, let's just load up a cool robot here, for example. Everything about this guy is defined in here. So all the physics parameters, everything about him, even including the script, the audio, everything about this dude is built with these tools. And we can even, see how it's put together and, kind of deconstruct him. We can modify him right away. We can put like, okay, his head, I want his head to look like something else. Let's see if we can find something fun here. Pioneer, maybe? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so he's gonna get a cool head here. Let's see if I can make that happen. I can drag and drop in there. I click Arnie's head, and now we have the Terminator. I didn't actually want to go in this direction, but I didn't intend to go in this direction, but that's what happened. So when I save now, you see how that image, even if it's just in an atlas here, it automatically gets tessellated, and the physics engine handles the shape of it right away. And if I then just put him in the scene and unpause, you will have the Terminator go berserk. So he's got like an ear cannon or something there, and he just blasted me. So he comes to life. Once you've built something and save it, it becomes a PNG, which is, I'll show you a screen capture if I switch it.
I'm gonna bring in Matthew, and they can actually watch you do this.
Sure,
so I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's cool. So we have our good friends, really old friends of mine actually. I've known Matthew since before I moved to the United States, which is 14 years ago. So anyway, I just wanted to finish up here this demo of Arnie. I'm gonna now show you that when we've saved him, he looks like the updated version here, and this is just a PNG file. So if I drag him out to my desktop, and where did he go? Yeah, there you go. So this is the blueprint that we made, and it looks like just a regular PNG. It just looks like a, oops, sorry. Here you go. Now you can see what I'm doing. So we have the window of the game, and what I did, I'm gonna redo this so you guys can see what's going on. If I delete that off my desktop, so I opened up, we made this change to Arnie, and he looks awesome, right? We even have the different animations and so on in here, so he can do his little dance. But when I hit save and I have the library here, you can see all the different blueprints in the game, which is literally everything in the game. The creatures, the vehicles, the pioneers, all that stuff. If I drag and drop this guy out of the game onto my desktop, he becomes a copy. It just copies this thing that actually contains everything about this robot in this PNG file. And it's just an image as far as this image editor is concerned, or viewer, and the same for a browser. But at the end of this, there's a big blob of binary data that actually contains everything about this guy, including his high-res textures, audio, script, all the physics parameters, everything about him is in there. So if you want to send that to a friend, you can just drag that into Discord, for example, and here's Discord. So we have our little Discord channel where we share blueprints, and there's hilarious stuff in here already. If I want to share this with a friend, I can just go, boom, I want to drag and drop it. I can upload it into Discord. And now everyone in our channel, which is our kind of pioneer program community right now, they can see that thing that I just put in there. And what they can do is drag it out of Discord or anywhere else, a browser, it doesn't matter, into their game, and it comes to life in its full glory, because the everything about that guy is in that picture file. So not only is creating very easy in this game, or with these tools, sharing is super easy and fun. So you can have a bot battle immediately happen between these two robots that were just created and dragged and dropped in and out. So the game, even if I delete this blueprint out of the game completely, boop. So now there's no Arnie in there anymore, and I drag him out. Oh yeah, our friends are in here already. I drag him out, and now he's in the game again. So yeah, everything about him is defined in that. But that's pretty much what we wanted to show right now. And now we have some guests that we're going to do a little break from Planetoid Pioneers. Yay. And show some stuff from really good old friends of mine who live here in Phoenix and have also been slow cooking their game for however long. Come on in, guys. Come on in. We have the camera going here. Sweet. All right, so let me introduce, this is Ben. You can stand right here.
Camera's over here,
yeah.
Guys.
Matthew's en route.
Oh, okay, he's in the...
We got trick bottles of water, and we've both peed like 7 times.
Excellent. Yeah. Awesome. So Ben Rees is a really cool guy working on a game called Aztez. You have an interesting title, a combat consultant. That's kind of your separate...
Yeah, that's nighttime stuff.
Yeah, so that's how you, like, your second job, but that means combat consultant means like for fighting games, like you would.
Yeah, like similar tasks as like beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
You know, like heavy player versus computer type
Right.
games.
Cool.
I make the distinction because like I'm not qualified to do a Street Fighter style
Sure.
game. Like that's not my thing.
Right.
But, yeah, that's a really good source of nighttime income, and that's pretty fun to do.
That's
too,
awesome,
so,
but it it ties into this game that you're building right now, which is how would you describe it?
So it is a highly technical beat 'em up.
Okay, so you can stand right here, Matthew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where should I
Right here. Perfect. It's a wide angle, so I'll be over here. Yeah. So yeah, go
super
ahead.
technical beat 'em up in the vein of like Bayonetta, like heavily inspired by stuff like Bayonetta and
Yeah.
God of War. But yeah, like I said, single player, it's you versus 100 enemies. But
Nice.
the idea of the game is that like you've got a huge array of mechanics.
Right.
There's a lot of styles that will emerge, and then a lot of weapons and a lot of fun enemies. So yeah,
Cool.
it's pretty hardcore beat 'em up at
Right.
its core. Yeah.
So we're gonna fire it up in a second, but let me just introduce Matthew Wagner. He's probably one of my oldest friends, honestly.
I think I met you in '99.
Yeah, which is
Wow.
yeah. I was still in Sweden. We had internet
You were in high school.
acquaintance or even working relationship to some degree. We're not going to go into that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so once I moved to California, I realized I was like right next to where these guys were going to school, and we just met up and hung out. And then they moved to Arizona. I moved after.
Yeah, there was some
Arizona.
random conversation where it's like, "Hey, where are you living now?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm in Cave Creek." I'm like, "Isn't that in Phoenix?"
Yeah.
That's where I live.
Yeah, and so it was like the
You
second.
guys had met in California.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They went to Cogswell, him and
Right.
Steve and those guys,
Uh-huh.
and I was working right next to them,
Right.
and so it was like, let's just hang out, and then
wow,
they moved here, and then so
Weird.
yeah, it is weird, but we're both, we're all of us are game developers, and we're indie game developers on top of that. we've been doing this, all of us, for years and years and years and years. You know, a long time. You went to college for it.
I dropped out of college.
You dropped out of college for it. I dropped out of college twice as well. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So we're all happy, you know, like misfit
I'm
family.
the only non-dropout, but I actually started my company in college, and that's how I got good grades.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so these guys I've known for a long time. I thought it would be really cool to have them come over and show their thing as well, because you're going to get sick of us blabbing about this our game the whole time. And so we're going to fire up Aztez, which is like, you know, it has like a South American, Mexican, specifically Mexican vibe to it, which and a really cool art style. So we might as well do that. Just hit the Aztez thing there, and close the thing that showed that our game crashed. So that's good.
Do you have a controller?
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. It's right here.
And you can play as a keyboard.
This is whatever's on Steam right now.
This is our older combat build, but that's
Oh yeah. So I don't know. There's only one controller necessary.
either one will work.
Oh really? Okay, cool.
There's one player. So
Sweet.
yeah.
All right, so we're firing that up.
I'll let Ben get in here.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah.
Steamx. We just had someone buy Cortex Command. That's so
Woo,
nice. of
hello.
you.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and so now this is Aztez, but it's not
So
showing
nice.
here for some reason. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah,
So that's on the screen.
Yeah, this is our older Steam combat build.
Yeah.
it's a build we prepared to hand off to like our high-level testers.
Yeah.
The kind of maniacs that make combo videos and stuff like that.
Right.
They've been using this build to give us feedback. And
I'm gonna stand real close to you so everyone can hear you. So we're gonna like make out in front of Aztez.
oh, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, this is what is on. So it's full screen on the game here.
Yeah.
So yeah, please walk us through what you're doing here.
So I mean, this is the way most of our builds have always started. It's just a safe room. This is an enemy that's not really an enemy. They're just kind of a dummy with infinite health.
Sure.
But this is our way of kind of like letting people get comfortable with controls and letting them put their hands on the gamepad and kind of see what's up. And then this is just, you know, here's some basic input scheme.
Very cool.
But whenever you're ready to start, you can just kind of go into it. And then this is a pretty good example of like a textbook. Oh yeah, this is the feedback build. So I'm just gonna pick.
Oh
one
sure,
of these
yeah.
randomly.
Yeah. Don't lean too heavy on this because my game is crap. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a textbook example of combat events. So like when you enter one of these from the main game in the single player experience, it's going to be a specific combination of enemies and like one of our pretty environments, and they'll have some kind of objective, like, you know, kill this boss or kill these specific guys, or protect this thing, whatever it might be. But ultimately, it's about the enemy coming.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, one thing I really dig about this, ever since I've seen you start working on it, is this super bold visual style.
Yeah.
There's two colors. There's black and blood. Basically.
Right. Well, so the thing is that there is also gray.
Okay.
And the reason I'm
That's
happy about that is because it gets compared to Mad World a lot, like the Platinum game.
Oh, sure.
Years ago. And the thing about Mad World is that it was actually black and white. On the eyes.
Oh, you just have too much contrast.
And it's a super good game. I love it. I love Platinum, but like I couldn't play that game for more than like 20 minutes at a time.
Damn.
I had the same problem. How many times do you actually like want to hurt?
Yeah.
And the original build of this was actually black and white in the same way.
Yeah.
And then Mad World came out, and I was like, ooh, this is like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Once
Oh,
we
guys, the
introduced
game
gray-
volume. Can we reduce that?
Yeah, we can reduce the game volume a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna make this a little
Perfect.
We are learning here, so please
Cool. So hopefully
keep coming with those comments and that feedback, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the whole thing is that it's basically a couple different layers of gray, and then all of the objects that you ever see are running off of like one texture.
Okay.
Because as the only artist, the guy that does like the animation.
So you have a massive atlas that you're. Whoa.
Yeah, so it's not even massive. It's like it's a one single image just covered in Mesoamerican motif. And I just map all these objects to different parts of the motif, and that's kind of what we use to
I love it, man.
make 99% of these objects, which is pretty.
Oh shit! You just did something crazy. What was that move?
Yeah, so the idea with the blood is that the blood is not actually like just kind of a ridiculous sensational thing. You can actually absorb the blood because blood is super important to the
Now I get
assets,
it.
You know what I mean? And so when you do that, you're filling up this meter.
Yeah.
And then when you actually fill up that meter, you have access to that mechanic, which is essentially like a god summon.
I see.
But
And that's what he did.
Very quick, yeah. He summoned Huitzilopochtli, which is, it's easy to say.
Say that
It's
10
easy
times,
to
yeah.
say. But so in the finished product, you're gonna have your choice between one of 4 different gods, and you're gonna bring one into the fight. So
Much success.
yeah,
Good job. This is amazing. Yeah, like the blood thing. I haven't played this for years, honestly, until I tried it yesterday. And the blood thing, I was like, I did this cool move, but I didn't realize that it was the absorption of blood, thing. So now I get it. That's very cool.
Yeah. So the idea is that like, I mean, its most important function is that it actually freezes this.
Okay.
So if you stop to absorb blood, you're not actually going to like run the timer down or your combo.
I see.
So not only is it to help fill up that meter to get access to that mechanic, but it's also to like preserve your combo so that you can continue your aggression, right?
Very cool.
And yeah, these guys are, they look like that because they're
stunned or
technically dead.
Okay.
They're about to croak.
Oh.
And you have a 3-second window to
Finish them.
sacrifice.
I see. Gotcha.
And yeah, the sacrificing is interesting because it's like, that was a very real part of Aztec society.
Of course, yeah.
Like, blood was super important to them. Like, they were trying to appease their gods.
Yeah.
Like, keep the earth moving. And so we're like, oh, hey, this is like a good excuse to like have blood be meaningful.
Yeah.
And not something you can turn off because it would hurt
I
the game
dig it.
experience.
I dig it. You not so much success this time.
No.
It's a hard level. Are you going to give the feedback that it was very hard?
Yeah, I'll say this designer's an idiot.
Yeah. Oh, the mouse is all the way over here. You can move the mouse over here. You should
I'm
do
just
it.
gonna do a blind submit.
Yeah.
Let's get a boss up in here.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, Eagle Boss. Let's do it.
I'm seeing some sick ass tools there, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's like the feedback.
On this build, we actually collect all the replays. Oh, we have some sweet flickering shadows here. So when anyone plays any of this build, we actually get the replay and any feedback they typed in, and we have like a couple thousand combat replays in the game that we can go in and like
Super cool.
see if we what we think will be an easy mission.
Yeah.
I got the shit kicked out.
Yeah, you did. that was kind of brutal,
I
man.
don't know if I can cuss on the stream, but I just did.
Mr. Eagle.
Lowered volume because apparently the special moves.
I got it. I got it. Yeah, I got it. I got it. Here we go. There we go. Ooh, yeah, he's.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't really need the
it's all good.
game sound too much.
Okay, there we go. We're back. So, yeah, this is really impressive. The feedback system you guys built in here. I was looking at it yesterday. It actually connected through the Steam user. No, was it the Steam user?
We know the Steam is. We connect the Steam username with our database username. It's super important because after we've been making this game for like 5 years.
Yeah.
We have no idea what we think is hard if it's actually hard.
Of course, yeah.
So it's we need to calibrate our expectations of what is difficult.
Totally, yeah. No, I think every game developer has that issue, right? Like, is you get too close to what you're working on, and you lose perspective on difficulty level, complexity,
and
all this
games
stuff.
like this all the time.
Yeah.
Like my version of what hard is is gonna be very different from like the average casual action gamer.
Yeah. You're doing better against this guy.
Well, I mean, I'm blocking.
Right. Okay. I'm doing the thing you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. Very cool. I mean, again, it's so neat to have like the Aztec visual style with like this black and white bold thing. I mean, it's
underutilized. It's
I think so too. Yeah.
Like,
what has been in games is like the silhouette black and white aesthetic, right? Limbo and so on. They used it really well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel it's kind of a crutch. It's like, okay, we don't have to make pictures anymore. But this is clearly doing something more interesting where you do see detail inside the characters.
And that was the point. Because like what we understand of their cities and their living spaces, that they were so colorful and so textured and so vibrant. And so even though we have this colorless style, I think it was really important to me that we communicated that they lived in like a really beautiful world of architecture and landscape.
They really had some cool stuff going. I mean, even the weapons and stuff were pretty unique compared to the rest of the world. I mean, like you look at medieval weapons, there's nothing that what you have right now, which is like this kind of serrated, or it has like sharp pieces in there.
It's like the obsidian lined. It's basically a plank of wood lined with obsidian.
And that's all sharpened. Each one.
Yeah, it was like it was central Mexico, and it was such a volcanic region that they had obsidian for days. So it was a big part of their weapons. It was a big part of their armor.
Obsidian is essentially glass, right? Like a very hard.
It's a very, very sharp glass. It was brittle, but it was incredibly sharp.
I see. Yeah. So it's like flint, but in a different. Whoa! Look at you.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Success.
Someone is asking, is there local or online leaderboards? I think more competitive players would enjoy this game if there was a ranking or leaderboard system.
Oh, we'd love to, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we're designing it so that people like want to watch it and people want to make combo videos of it, and it's really stylish. So ideally, people can compete in some ways, right? Like, of course, we'd want to do that.
Yeah. Do that. Look at that. I just made things happen.
That's fancy.
Yeah, I know.
At the bottom. Good.
So,
good.
Yeah. He likes the bottom. Anyway,
So we got 5 more minutes for you guys. What else do you want to share or tell us?
yeah, the game is still running. If you want to do more stuff.
This would be a good opportunity to say that there is no release date.
Okay.
Like every time someone asks us, it like hurts our heart a little
It's
bit.
when it's done.
Yeah. I mean, we've been working on it full time for like almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
And I was working on it, or we were both working on it very briefly for like a year before that, just
Right.
prototyping.
Right.
So there's no release date yet, but like it's just 2 of us, and
Yeah.
we have some like incredibly helpful people who are writing some jams, and we've had some people help with character art and stuff like that.
Right.
But it is mostly us,
Yeah.
you know. And so it's coming along, it's going well. There's no release date,
Sure.
but it feels like this is the year.
I think what. Yeah. Sorry. what were you
Yeah,
gonna say?
like the other thing that you're actually seeing half of the game. So
Yeah.
the other half of the game is a map of the Aztec Empire, and you have to decide what to do that turn. And it's more of like a risk assessment thing. It's not really like a strategy game in the sense of planning ahead 10 turns like you might in Civ. It's more like here's the events that are happening in the Empire. Which one do you want to address?
Right.
So you're actually seeing about half the game. Like so, rather than like in a board game where it'd be a dice roll or something, it's just a combat sequence.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've only really shown off the combat stuff on the show floor when you're talking for 5 minutes. It makes immediate sense, but
Right.
it's basically half of the game.
No, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, adding the metagame. So you make a really juicy tactical or like action,
Right.
core of the game that players spend most of their time in. I assume, right?
Right.
And then build a metagame that gives it context and gives like the battles a meaning.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's actually with Cortex Command exactly what I did too. Like we had those battles that were tactical battles, and then built a metagame on top of it that makes
you
them
need
sense.
the vehicle for it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Like most people don't want to just pick their fights all day, and
Yeah.
some people do, but the majority they kind of want that context.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so-
It's a story arc and all this stuff
Yeah.
that even if it's not something that's scripted story by you guys,
Right.
it becomes a story in their head, right? Like I started here, and then
Yeah,
these
exactly.
things happen, right?
Eventually, Cortez shows up, and there's some problems.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn!
Oh,
nice.
So there are story aspects.
There's
in
a
it.
lot of stuff we haven't shown.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent,
it's-
excellent.
We've been talking about it for years, but like we've redesigned it a handful of times.
Yeah.
Like it was originally much more complicated, and then we're sitting there going like, well, do people who play this kind of game like want something that's complicated, like
right.
serving them up combat?
Sure.
And so yeah, it's almost there. Like that's kind of the next step is finally revealing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's,
No.
even if that fails, like our core experience
It's really good. Yeah,
solid.
you have something. Yeah, so it's another reason actually I wanted you guys on here because you guys are doing, unwittingly or not, what we've been doing for as long as we've been doing this is the slow cooking games, which
Right.
we started using. Actually, Vlad kind of gave me the impetus to make a talk and like come up with a term for this, which is very long period of developing games.
Right.
Most of the industry has been like, okay, let's push out a game in 1 or 2 years and have a big team and like high burn rate and all this stuff that
Right.
comes with that. That model doesn't work so well anymore.
Right.
Like all these mid-level studios are closing down and have
Right.
been doing that. What we're doing, thanks to the internet and these new things that are available to us, where we can engage with the community directly, get
Right.
money from the community directly if they want to support us. You guys haven't started doing that. And I didn't do that for the longest time with Cortex Command either. I had a
Right.
free version of it for the longest time.
Yeah.
But it's a slow cooking way of doing things where you take your time with a very small team, very low burn rate.
Game audio's still on.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, it's just the birds.
Yeah.
I'm just happy
Yeah,
we have
I'll
people
just-
who are vigilant. and-
Yeah, totally. We appreciate that.
guys.
So the what I'm getting at is like you guys are doing what I found myself doing, and this was not planned at all. I'm sure you guys didn't plan to work as long on
Oh,
this
no,
as
no, no.
Matthew's like he's got the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, we're actually in the middle of a pretty dark production. Like my story in that is our website was done by Michael Heald, and it had 2014 baked into the bottom graphic.
Yeah.
But it was like a 3D art font.
Sure.
At the end of last year, I was like, hey man, can I get a 5? And what
Right.
font you're using? He's like, yeah, no problem. Here's the 5, and just in case, here's the 6.
Awesome. I love
It was
it.
like
I love
2014,
it.
I was like, no man, we don't. But thanks.
Yeah.
At the start of this year, I just sort of quietly slipped in that 6.
Totally. Speaking of Michael Heald, shout out to him. He did that.
I knew this was him.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! He just refreshed it too. Yeah, so he's a graphic designer in the UK who did not the Cortex Command logo, but he did our website design.
He's done a lot of stuff.
And then he started, he's kind of like been around the block.
Did he do the Crush logo?
He did.
I knew it.
He did.
I knew
he did do the Crush 2D logo and the Planetoid Pioneers logo because he's our go-to guy, and for you
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, he's great.
And a lot of other indies as well. So Shout out to him. But yeah, it's interesting, like this slow way of doing things that we all kind of fell into.
I'd like to say it's a strategy, but for us, it's totally not.
Yeah, and it wasn't for me either.
If we could have launched a year ago, we would have launched a year ago.
Right.
But you know how it is. Like once this stuff comes out, you can always say like, "Oh, we had this plan." Oh,
No. Yeah, that wouldn't be in general. You know, that's what.
that would be exaggerating.
Yeah, but Vlad made me like think about this, like, how is this possible that we're doing this, and it's weird, and like we should call it something, and it's not just us doing it, because I recognize you guys are doing it. Chris Hecker is doing it with the Spy Party.
Right.
You know, Mega Cure, Mark Ten Bosch is doing it. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us planned on working,
No,
because
right.
like, who in their right mind would be like, I'm going to work on this project for 8 years, you know,
Right.
like 8 years of my life is going to go into this one thing.
Right.
But what we all did, I think, was we had a vision we were passionate about, passionate enough to commit to, and we just kept getting sucked into,
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
executing that, and it just drags out, you know.
Yeah,
And,
it's an unintended consequence of like a very, very tiny team.
Yeah.
Because you have this like huge ambition.
Totally.
There's this thing you know you want to do.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of sneaks up on you that like it's been 3 years and these systems aren't done.
Yep.
But you're actually making a whole lot of experience.
Yeah.
It's just it's going so slowly because there's such a small team.
Absolutely, yeah.
And one of the unintended benefits as well is that like it's not ultimately going to cost us. It's a fraction of the cost to make a game like this
Oh,
that it
totally.
is to make, you know, something that comes out on the shelf.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Which is nice. It's
yeah.
the only reason we've been able to, right?
Yeah, and all of us. I mean, like, we don't have expensive. You guys have some kind of office, but it's not like something fancy.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
And you know, I've worked, you know, at these, and I think we all have worked at larger studios. Well,
Right.
maybe you didn't. Yeah,
Oh, no,
you've been
right,
indie.
yeah.
You're
I've
never
hard.
actually worked
You're the
in the
most
industry.
indie, yeah, of us.
never
Which is
did
props to you.
either, yeah.
But like, you know, I worked at large studios where it's like 250 people
Right.
in a glitzy, you know, thing, and it just like, holy crap, how much are they spending?
Yeah,
you know, on rent
separate
alone.
Space. Our like, if you combine our total expenses, like
Yeah.
my rent and Ben's rent and our
Yeah.
my groceries and Ben's groceries, our separate space is like another 25%
Hmm.
of our total expenditure. And I think the game's getting made faster, like more than 20% faster.
Oh, totally.
By having a separate space we can go to,
Right.
where we don't feel like people are constantly like, you know, the girlfriend doesn't come home and like, hey, how's it
Yeah.
going? Like, oh, I was in the middle of, never mind. It's
Right. Yeah.
So having that second space, I think, is more than a 20% benefit.
Right. No, it's whatever is working for the different teams. I mean, I have my separate. This is my space, you know, and I've tried. I mean, back in the Flashbang days when you guys had an office and I came over and I tried to like get work done there and I just fell asleep instead.
Took some naps.
Yeah, exactly. I took a lot of naps. That was what I did. But you know, for me personally, this works. And having Vlad over here short periods of time, like a month or so, that's about as long as we can tolerate each other, you know, without
Right.
strangling each other.
Never lived
Yeah, exactly. So we had a period of this last year at this incubator in Sweden, Stugan, which was like a really cool
yeah.
experience. It was a couple of months of us like in the Swedish countryside actually working on stuff together.
6 weeks. So
Right.
this is a breezer compared to that.
Yeah.
Obviously now we're working on the launch of the game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So these are kind of like sprints instead of
Yeah.
you know where we're in a focused environment and we get a lot of shit done, you know, and then when we're not, we're still like asynchronously working
Sure.
with and our team has now become quite large. We have 20 people in 10 countries on 4 continents working on stuff, which has been a very, very like interesting adjustment for me, you know,
Yeah.
because we have people now who are, you know, experts in web development and back end stuff, you know,
Right.
that you guys have through Matthew, you know, and
Yeah.
so on, but I am terrible at any kind of web
Yeah.
development, so we needed someone on that. But yeah, we have a lot of cool people, and it's an
I'm
interesting.
afraid we're out of time.
Yeah. So
Cool. I'm so happy you guys could make it.
Yeah,
Thank you
totally.
for bearing with us and helping us test out the
Yeah.
stream. So
Yeah.
good luck with Astas, guys.
ooh,
If
he
you're
felt me up.
interested in Astas,
Yeah, a
make
little,
sure you go to
little hug there. Yeah.
astas.com. I'll be
Yeah,
posting the
astas.com.
link. And you can have a look there. Dan, maybe you can also put the link on your screen so we can show it real quick.
Heck yeah.
Start.
Okay, so yeah, let's fire up a browser.
Planetoid Pioneers.
Hopefully this year, but
Yeah.
soon.
Let's see. Is it astas.com?
Astas.com.
Yes.
Beautiful website. I'm so jelly.
Yeah, and
It's more Michael Heald work.
yeah, baby. Let's see if we can get the screen capture going. Yep, that's it. Look how cool that is. That's awesome. Well, thanks again, guys, and you know, we'll drive safe and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
All right, cool.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, I'm gonna run the intro or this trailer here while I crank up the AC because it is hot in here.
Yeah, we are heating up
Yeah.
in multiple ways.
Yeah. So I'm going to run that, and we can, let me get the AC thermostat.
So thanks everyone for watching up until now. We're going to get back on focusing what we're working on here with the Planetoid Pioneers Contributor Edition. Now, some of you guys have already mentioned how much is this game going to be. It's going to be $39.99, and you might be wondering, why are you guys charging that much money? Dan kind of touched that topic a couple of times, but I would recommend that you guys go to our Steam store page and have a look yourself. We have a very elaborate, frequently asked questions there about our early access strategy and plans. Aside from that, we've also launched a game previously, Cortex Command, that got 400,000 copies sold across both Steam and our own website and our friends at Humble Bundle. So we've learned our lessons in dealing with games that are still in development. And, you know, the idea is that we only want you guys to buy the Contributor Edition if you're genuinely interested and excited and curious about the editing suite and tools and engine that we've developed. If you're curious about having to work on games but have never done it before and you want to make your first steps, we're doing everything we can to make this the lowest barrier of entry possible for people to make cool things in a game. As you all know, Minecraft allows you to stack blocks, and we really see an opportunity here to offer something to you guys who want to do more than just that. So if you would take Minecraft and look at how it works, you know, compared to Legos, we're trying to be Lego Technic in that sense. So feel free to ask any questions you have. Keep giving us feedback, and thanks, Mikey Mark. I really appreciate that. This is our first time with such a huge viewership, so we're definitely going to make it better. We will be doing this every single Friday, where we will also have the front page on Twitch and get all of you guys who might have never heard of us before to discover us. So any feedback, any tips and suggestions are welcome. We're fairly new to this, but we are improving every single step. So we actually have 4 cameras set up here, but, you know, we are improvising, we're iterating every single time, and we will be streaming daily as well from 12 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time while we're just working and trying to focus. This is really, you know, we're giving you all of our attention during this 2-hour stream every Friday. The next couple of ones are going to be obviously on Friday the 7th of April, Friday the 15th of April, when we're actually launching the game. And we'll have a special broadcast from PAX East as well, the week after, on the 22nd of April. And they're all going to be from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that's 11 p.m. till 1 a.m. Central European Time. And of course you're welcome to do the math, but please follow us and you'll see us pop up. And the most important thing, which we have not yet shown, not only can you guys share something very easily with our PNG technology, but we've actually developed a arena here on Twitch, which Dan is actually going to be showing, I'm guessing, that you can submit your creations to in order to fight, let them fight to the death.
Yeah,
and,
so I can talk about that if you don't mind. So I just fired up that Planetoid. Again, it's just another Planetoid. I don't know how many new people we have in here, but Planetoid Pioneers, right? That's what we're talking about today, and it's all about exploring planetoids. Each of these planetoids have their own rule sets and kind of their little games in their own right, so to speak. So we have one that is called the Colosseumoid. The one that we started in was the Titleoid, and where everything has a oid at the end. We might break away from that after a while, but so this is just the title Planetoid, and this is the big one that I showed off before, and I'll come back to later to show off more, which is more representative of the actual gameplay that we're hoping to create with Planetoid Pioneers. But what Vlad just here's Arnie's head. Great. I was just working on this guy before, so that's why he has Arnold's head in there.
Is the static camera working?
The static camera?
Yeah, no, the dynamic camera. Oh yeah, it's working.
It is.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we call the Colosseumoid, and it's an automated battleground. Essentially, it's an arena that goes completely on its own, and it just spawns in 2 different robots, 2 different creatures, 2 different vehicles at a time, and they fight it out to the death if they, exist. This one might be just a malfunction here, so I'm going to reset. But yeah, you can see that when I do reset, we have 2 different things that come in again, there we go. There's a flying creature in there. I'm going to turn off the discovery map so now we can see. And they are AI driven, right? So they have their own ways to detect the enemy and to attack, and they do that until one of them is kaput. And what happens then is the champion is declared, and the challenger is replaced with the next one in line. So it makes for pretty fun fights to just watch, and we're going to actually add betting to the chat of our channel that this is going to be running on. So we're on this channel that you're watching right now on Data Realms, Twitch TV/Data Realms. Most of the time, 24/7, this is going to be running when we're not actively dev streaming on our own, working on computers here. That you can talk to us and so on, and not when we're doing this thing now. This kind of highlight session. This arena will be running, and the really cool part here that Vlad touched on is that these creatures that are in here were actually made by a lot of them were made by the community. So this little robot that drops bombs was made by someone in the community who then drag and dropped his blueprint for that thing that contains everything about that guy into Discord, which is our sharing, I'm going to show you that right now, into our sharing community here. So this is Discord, and as you can see, it's kind of like Slack. If you're familiar with Slack, it's a, oops, that's not working. Here we go. Slack is a team collaboration tool. Discord is like that, but it also has voice chat and it's more gaming centric. So we have different crazy things in here that whenever they drag something in here, this contains like this crazy Tyrannosaurus, Cyber Tyrannosaurus Rex has everything about it in that image. So I can now drag that into the game as well. But what I'm saying is that when they drag something into Discord, it actually automatically, we have a bot in the background that scrapes these things. But if I drag this into the game, oh God, what is going to happen here? So it gets loaded, and it's now added to the arena right now, but it also got added to the circulation of different blueprints that will be in rotation for the challengers. And so this is just bizarre what's going on in that scene. We have the Cyber Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of upside down and going crazy. I just dragged him in, so this fight is now completely thrown. But the fact that he's now in the game, in the rotation, will mean that he will spawn as a contender at some point here. So we're keeping developing this because it's right now it's pretty basic. It just has these two things spawning, and there is the challenger will be replaced every time, and the champion is there. You can have streaks, and the champion will be announced as having a specific streak number, after he's won 3 times, 4 times. As you can see, it declares the bot walker has now won by shooting the other guy, and if he wins again, he's gonna have a streak of 2. We're going to be adding like a list of stats and the queue of different blueprints that are coming in on upcoming, so people can actually see when they submit something to the Discord, it'll appear, their creation will appear. And here's 2 worms that are slightly different, and I can tell you already the big wheel one has an advantage, and it's an example of just one thing being changed actually having a huge impact on the outcome of these battles. So the lethality of that worm on top there was pretty clear. So he's now the champion, and he won immediately because I think that other creature just blew up himself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you in the top here.
Do we want to highlight some specific creations and
Sure.
open them up in the editor? Because
Sure.
I have to say I'm really grateful to our community for having jumped on top of this so fast and creating some amazing things. You might have noticed on Discord that some of them have blue names. That's one way for us to honor the creators, the contributors who have gone above and beyond in both their creations, but also contributing. We've had some people actually make tutorials as well. Soze being one of them. Soze, thank you so much for that. Crash,
he's in the chat, yeah.
Soze being from the UK, Crash being from Brazil. We have an international group of amazing people trying out these tools, giving us feedback, and also moderating this chat, which is is exploding right now. Oh my God! So thank you so much for tuning in, and let's have a look at what these guys have actually made, and
Yeah,
give
sure.
you guys some feedback too, because this is pretty early, you know, for you. Everyone's just picking up these tools. Some of you guys have had them for the past couple of months. Some of you guys have just jumped on top of them for a couple of weeks. So there's still a lot to explore, and we're just at the beginning of it.
Yep. So Arnie is having a really bad day here. As you can see, it's just I wanted to show off this battle. And we're going to dive into the tools and show off some of the stuff that people have made in a second. I just want to talk for 1 minute about the physics engine that we have going, that everything you're seeing is built on top of. You know, the Crush 2D engine, as you see on the screen here, is what drives all this destructibility and deformations and literally everything that you see, including the tools, is what we call the Crush 2D engine. It is a world-class, as far as we can tell. We you know, when we started making Planetoid Pioneers in 2009, that's literally 7 years ago. We looked around and we couldn't find any technology that was off the shelf that did what we were hoping to do, which is this dynamic destruction and making it very easy to add stuff to the game by just dragging, dropping images in that would be used to be turned into physics objects right away without extra work. So we built it ourselves. If that was wise or not, that's up for debate. Well, you know, we're going to see in this year, you know, how well that investment is paid off in time and money. But yeah, the Crush 2D engine is what everything's built on, and what you see here on display, causing this dynamic destruction of the objects and the creatures that are fighting it out, duking it out right now. Oh, this guy is shy. He's like, he doesn't want to come out. So we have, you know, we have to iterate on things constantly, and the beauty of these tools that I'll dive into is that we can do that all the time, and that's and it's very easy and fun for us. So if we find that, you know, there's something we want to change about this arena, for example, I can just pause this. Okay, I want to go in and change something about the way the arena looks or feels. I can go in these tools that look really intimidating at first because they're not watered down whatsoever. However, we have really good guides and tutorials already going that I'll also show you in a second that walk you through everything you would need to do some cool stuff in here right off the bat. So I can go in here and see if I can find a layer that has that. Good. So I'm locking everything else. And if I want to, like, I want more interesting terrain in here, right? So I can then go in and just start creating that. I can make a little copy of that, make a platform up here. I can reset that deformation and just put it in here. I can drag in any image off my hard drive that I want to have in here. Like I can have a little bump right there and move it to the front. Oops, those layers are taken, so I'm gonna, oh, they're locked, that's why. So there we go. So this is now in there as a little hump in the terrain. So now we've changed our arena. We can just unpause, and that's now what's active. So you know, you see the change in the ground that I just made in a few seconds with these tools are now, you know, active, and they're physically, you know, affecting the world. And there's no blocks. You know, he saw that platform actually blocked his bomb, so we could make some interesting stuff happen just right off the bat to make this arena a little more appealing. So to show off some of the stuff that people have made, these were both created, that you see now, they were both created by the official team, but we do have some really cool stuff in the chat that I'll show you here. So we go to screen capture again, so I can minimize the not minimize, but not go full screen. So I could drag in stuff here, and as you can see in our Discord chat, people have been working on all kinds of fun creatures and wacky monsters. Some of them are kind of remixes of what we already had before, like Beefworm here is something that Cows Landler made. I don't know if I got that pronunciation right, but as you can see, that he's very closely related to the Beefworm is very closely related to the other worm. Uh-oh, we have two Beefworms in here now, and things will go a little slow here because we're streaming and so on. But yeah, you can see how they're basically a reskin, and it's very cool the way he did it. You know, it looks like meat, and he got those meat images off of the internet, probably. I can show you if I go here and open up the editor and look at what he did. Since we've dragged in that B form, which didn't exist in the game up till now, until that moment I dragged it in, it got added to this library of blueprints, right? So we can look at these a little closer. Here's B form, and here's all the other stuff in the game, including all the weapons and tools and technologies that you're going to be using as you play the game, or as the arena gets populated. Oh God, this is gross. Look at these textures. I love it. So yeah, B-form in his full glory right here. You can see how it's actually put together with this 3D view. You can visualize how those. Oh, it's like chunky. It's like minced meat in the back and chunks in the front. Gross. So this was put together by Kauslands or something. And we really appreciate his creativity here. You can see that there's different animations for him too. Like he's got the little jaws going, open and closing. And what he did really, which is I don't want to downplay it at all. He did do a fun concept, but he started with something that we provided as a content. You can certainly build stuff from scratch if you feel like it, and the tools are there for you to do that, and we built everything from scratch ourselves. So everything you see in here, except for the painting of the textures, was done with these tools. But as you can see, the worm is here, the way he's put together, and we had the art that we used originally. But if we want to use something that is anything else in the world, honestly, we can make, if we can find something round here as a texture. Like this guy, for example. So we're going to select the object that we want to replace the texture on, and change not only the texture, the visual texture, but also the physics properties of it. Because if I drag this in and go boop, now that cogwheel is a lump of dirt. I don't know how much sense that makes, but this is just demonstration. We can scale it up and down, and as we do that, you can see that the internal tessellation structure, the physical structure of it, is recalculated automatically. So the outline is also completely calculated based on the alpha, which is the transparency of that PNG. So this is just a simple PNG. I want to emphasize that if I click this button, it shows me where on my hard drive this picture is, and it's literally just a PNG that has alpha around it. So when you're painting stuff in Photoshop, if you're artistically inclined, you can go in and do that, of course.
I want to demo how that works, Dan.
In Photoshop, yeah, I can do that actually. Why not? So if I open this with Photoshop, I'm gonna fire that up right here. That's the other thing. I mean, the workflow here is something we worked on very hard to make, both for the artist, for the programmer, for the game designer, or for the level designer, for the audio person. The workflows and tool chains for all these folks when they want to make something or iterate on something in the game is supposed to be super fun and easy to do, right? So instead of even going into the texture editor or the texture kind of folder on my hard drive, I can do it directly from here. Let's say I want to change the way this guy's face looks, right? So I have the texture here. I clicked his head. I have the texture. I can click and drag this thing into Photoshop, which is so handy because here's Photoshop. I'm still clicking and dragging. It opens up the texture in Photoshop. I can then zoom in and start painting on this guy, right? So I can make his let's give him some cool eyeliner or something here. I'm just gonna go blah, beautiful, a little smaller. Here we go. Okay, he's angry now. I go File, Save. And before I can even alt-tab back into the game has already realized that, okay, this texture got updated, and now this is our new robot worm. And I can immediately playtest him in the game, with our beautiful chunk of dirt wheel and eye. He is now running in the game, and we can see how he performs, with this weird tail. And oh, Arnie is getting wrecked in the middle of this, between these two weird robot worm action things going on. So this is the kind of Swift tool. Oh wow, we got a rematch. I don't know how that happened. But you know, the quick iteration of actually working on these tools in the game is such a joy for us to work with, and we hope that.
You show the 3D layering, so
Sure.
to kind of like make people understand how this works. So there
Yeah.
is, you know, you can work with layers, you can work with joints to connect different objects,
Yep.
assign material properties to them, like Dan already mentioned.
Yeah. So it's a cool thing. Let me show another neat thing. So not only can we add an angry eye to his eye there, right? We have this. So in Photoshop, which we already had open here, I'm gonna keep the angry eye. I'm gonna drag over the texture from that big lump, and also open that in Photoshop, right? So here we have the lump of dirt. I'm gonna add some beautiful. I'm gonna get that color. Let's see if I can find that tool. Woo! I do not seem to be able to find it. I'm gonna see if I can get that. There we go. Now we have brown color, and we're gonna paint onto this some extra like spikes or something. And you see how I'm actually working outside of the
boundaries.
yeah, the boundaries of the alpha. So I'm actually changing the shape of the object. I will be. So when I hit save here again, file save, in the game, boom. This now has this weird lumpy thing in the back. And if I spawn him into the game now, I just hit insert, he will actually have different physical properties because of that. I think I can. We're gonna do a little fun test here. If I actually change the size of this image and add even more of a lump. Bleh.
Mind featuring some creations from the community?
Yeah, I'm about to. We're gonna get this thing going first. So I'm saving this again, and now the texture is this. You know, it actually changes the outline of this. So not only are you making cosmetic changes live, kind of on the fly, you're actually changing the way the physical objects are handled. So you know that thing will have more of a bite, I guess, when you're fighting. You know, these guys are going at it now. And turn off the lighting so you see better. So we can playtest immediately what we have done in Photoshop as a physics object. Every of these objects have their own assigned materials. So wheel 3 here, material is metal, which is probably not accurate. So let's change that to rock, or I think there's dirt at some point here. Yeah, dirt. And what happens then is that there's all kinds of consequences of changing a material of an object. Dirt has a certain set of effects that are associated with it. You know, like when you shoot something that's made out of dirt, it'll have a certain effect, particle effect, like a dusty, you know, puff maybe or something like that, and it'll have a sound effect and all these things.
Can you show the density and durability? Fabor86 is asking.
Yeah, certainly. So the durability is defined both by the material. So there's a whole material editor too, so you can edit the materials. We will be shipping with, you know, a good set of materials like these: wood, cardboard, moss, rock, and so on, that will have a good set of effects associated with them that are plausible and make sense. Their actual resource composition is important, right? Because if you're absorbing something that's made out of metal or something mechanical, you want it to have a high percentage of metals in it for the player to collect. And so that's another consequence of changing the material of an object, is the actual things you collect from it, but also need to build that stuff. So all these things are tied together in that sense. The actual breaking of these things is partially defined in the material. It's more of the effects are in the material here. The actual breaking of specific objects, the parameters and so on, which are set by default, is a pretty good default usually. They can be tweaked here though, you know, ad nauseum, honestly. Breaking, you know, allow object breaking, minimum force to break the object, you know, there's the core and so on. And these are all, you know, in actual metric units like meters and newtons and so on that, you know, seem like it's very overwhelming, like, but everything here has a tooltip associated with it. So when you hover over something, you don't know what it is, that tooltip will tell you a little bit more. We also have all kinds of documentation that we're both building and expanding on. If you hit F1 anywhere, oh, there's a video of me. There's the help for kind of like the game. and the editor. There's a bunch of keyboard shortcuts and so on. But when you press Wiki here, which is going to be called Guides soon, you get to the Steam workshop guide section, I think is the technical term, maybe not. But here we have a good start already of really good guides that just walk you through step by step how to do specific things with these very powerful tools. Like here we have drag your picture into the game, and we can even do it from the browser. And this is kind of a really neat thing. So if I do open up the editor again, I'm going to pause, and we're going to open up the editor and get someone's Pioneer here. If we can find Vlad, for example, who you might recognize from.
People love to see
the
me
corner.
die for some reason.
Yeah. So his head.
I don't get it.
His head is in here, and this guide is telling you, okay, if you want someone else's head, you can just drag it from a browser. Whoop, boom, and now it's Ernie. Ernie. And again, he gets cut out, made into a physics object based on the alpha in there. So if you have a browser and you have a bunch of fun images that you can use, I mean, we could use any of these images. This is the bizarre thing. Like, we could use that as your head. It doesn't make sense, but it is just showing that we could literally use any image off the internet and use that as your head. So if I don't like that, which I don't, I can just undo it, full undo, redo, and everything. So the tool set here, as I hope you're getting a feel for, is super powerful, and literally everything built in the game so far and in the future was made with these tools, and they're super robust. I mean, we haven't had any crashes on the stream so far, and I'm not surprised because I work with these tools every day, and they really don't crash very often. So I'm very proud of that. We have an excellent engineering team that has made this actually work really well. So. But that said, these are all work in progress, not only the game, but the tools themselves too. So as we're working with our Pioneer program right now and our contributor community after the early access launch in 2 weeks, we will take people's feedback about what they like about the tools, what they don't like, what they think is clunky and cumbersome. And we actually have a tool for the tools. So this is an editor for the editor, essentially. We can actually change any of these buttons, any of these things right on the fly. If I click here and I click there, we can actually change the tooltip and the script that gets run when we, so on. What I'm getting at is that with the feedback from you guys and from ourselves, just eating our own dog food, as they call it, when you use your own tools to build something, you get the knowledge for how to make something better, right? And that's where we're in the middle of, and we've been doing for a long time.
People are waiting to see what our community have made.
Oh, sorry. Let me go there.
Go into Discord and
Yes.
we go scroll up, because we love Discord.
Absolutely.
We actually experimented with Slack. Some of you guys might know that. It's a team communication tool.
Yep.
We didn't feel like we used it with a small group of our community, and it had its benefits. But now that we're also streaming, Discord works much better. We've actually built our Miro, our main engine programmer, built a bot that allows our Pioneer program participants to share their blueprints in Discord, and they automatically get uploaded to the arena that will be live streaming on this channel when we're not developing, or when we're developing. Actually, you'll be able to watch it 24/7.
So
And I think we have our first.
our
first
poor
contestant.
monsters got completely owned by this skiing. What's his?
It's a
Pixel Soldier.
Pixel Soldier by MD Reptile.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for that one.
He's
How about we scroll up and go back to the origin, like what happened at the start
Sure,
of the week,
sure.
just to make it fair for
We'll see how
everyone.
far we can go here.
Yeah, we can go pretty far. That's pretty cool
Excellent.
with Discord.
Yeah, you can go, keep going. So we're rushing by the bacon bot and the. Oh man, we have the bot memes. This
Thanks
one
for the
is,
follows,
ooh, this might.
Lensnet.
Let's see if this. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, make sure to follow, guys. Like, we see you watching, but this is just the beginning. Like, this is our first stream where we're learning as we're going. We hit the ground running
God.
with this. We have so much more in store. Like, we haven't even set up half of the cameras we actually had to make this as fluent as possible. So
Yeah, it's a learning process. We're going to be back
Exactly.
for the next 3 Fridays. So April is going to be a good progression for us as
Yeah, so
we're going to get
this
better
in
and
your,
better.
Yeah, keep this in your schedule. 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central European Time. We will be here. Thanks for the follows.
Yeah.
Coffee Drop, Mikko Clarkson. It's going so fast. I can barely thank you all personally.
Yeah, so I'm scrolling up
Instant
through
Respawn,
this
thanks.
this
Roth,
Discord channel here, and we have. Yeah, it's super cool that you guys are subscribing and actually curious about.
Who made that one?
It's a work in progress, clearly, because it just kind of fell apart. So he made a really fat version of the roly poly. It's the mother roly poly, but it was too fat. Like I don't think the joints and so on supported it. So the Pixel Soldier made quick work of it and put him out of his misery or her misery. Let's see. It was by Renu. How do you pronounce that?
Wet Dog. Thanks for the follows.
Well, thanks a lot.
So Jomi.
So
many follows. Thank you so
So
much.
we have Flying Things. So this was by Crash 159, who's one of our real heroes in the community. He's making tutorials and building amazing stuff. So we have the bot memes, which is completely overpowered, going against the Pixel Soldier right now.
Can you reload the scene real quick?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it not working?
Apparently the camera has been freaking out a little bit, but
Oh,
it's okay now. I
okay.
believe.
Yeah, that was poor. So you got to remember there's a delay. So whenever they react to something, it's probably over already. But yeah, so we have Pixel Soldier going against the Cyber Crab
See you, cows.
Eagle thing, and that platform I put in there actually makes it interesting. The flying guy has to like work around it now, and it's not as easy for him. But he still won. So these are just a few of the examples of things that people have made and submitted into the Slack channel here. And when they do, we have a program a bot that actually scrapes them and puts them in the game automatically. It's through a Dropbox folder that gets put on the machine that's streaming all the time. So here we
Thanks,
have
Moondream.
someone made Kibituna, sorry, made a Shrek Pioneer.
Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Yeah, and he's getting getting loved a lot by this
Can you actually control
Inferno.
him when you drag him in? Because it's
Probably. I didn't have the controllers hooked up. Maybe I could. I'm not sure if this specific scene is set up for that, because it is meant to be completely automated. If I could run around in here, that's something we talked about actually, to have guests get dropped into the arena while they come over here,
Yeah.
and we stream that as well, so they could try to survive. Okay, so now the fire guy is going bananas. But yeah, they could try to survive the mayhem in here and see how many seconds they would live or something. So there's so many different things we could do with this. Obviously, we have other things. Oh, this is a good one. This is like completely out of control.
that's Chris, Dan's housemate.
Yeah, he's
went
been a fan.
crazy.
He's kind of he lives in the room next door here, and he's been making some cool stuff
That's Wolf
as well.
Official.
Let's see here. Oh, we got one of our teammates. This is Jesus in Spain, and his face is on fire. He's kind of trapped between two monsters here, or squaring off. They might be kind of stuck because of this platform. I'm going to take out the platform. Again, I can do that super quick. I just go boop, and move it, or delete it, and start the action again. So that was a draw because they never got to each other. But yeah, this kind of automated. Oh yeah, here's a spinny thing that just kind of
Yeah, good point, Red Eye Zirkle. Thank you about that.
annihilates. So Scooper saw, and if he wins a couple of matches in a row, it's gonna count the streaks. He's not gonna win against the bot memes though, because I don't know if you notice, but Bob Ross is in there and he just melts everything with his rainbow thing. I don't know who was responsible for this, but I applaud him or her for the creativity, but not necessarily applaud him so much for the balance they
Oh,
achieved.
the meme bot?
Yeah, the meme bot is
know
just
who that
bananas.
is. I think I know who that is.
Yeah,
Let me
so
just
the meme
find
bot
that.
is going up against the he wins.
It was
again.
Soze. Soze made the meme bot.
Soze made the meme bot.
No, but like I can't blame him for wanting to make something OP that beats everything. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
like the gist of it all, right? We as developers challenge you to do that, and so we can then fix it. So
Oh,
the
certainly,
game
yeah,
is
yeah.
back in balance.
So we're gonna have. There's a couple of ideas we have for that kind of thing. You know, when something wins like 20 matches in a row,
Yeah.
it gets put in the Hall of Fame, you know, of OP maybe, and
Exactly.
it gets
You guys-
taken out of the.
Yeah, you
but
guys
you can
get
see
the
that the
challenge.
glory of this meme bot is
It's
remarkable.
So rich.
It's
Look
remarkable.
At the detail if you zoom in, like,
Yeah, we have.
there's so much goodness.
There's layers upon layers of. I can turn off the. Okay, so there's a minigun under here somewhere.
Oh,
Okay, I didn't even see this.
the minigun.
You see, now I actually appreciate it even more, because there's broccoli faces. There's a bunch of memes. It's kind of.
Oh, it's Kappa Ross.
Kappa Ross. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what the lips mean. Those are the Rocky Horror Picture Show lips with the rainbow color, and then
And the minigun shooting them,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So
so
pretty impressive.
exact-
Pretty impressive stuff. That he just
How did they make the rainbow color, Dan? I'm really curious. 'cause,
Yeah. So-
one of the things is I've been so busy with the business development and marketing of this game that I have done some of the basic tutorials, but I know I still do not have not done all of the guides and tutorials that we have.
Yeah.
But how do you get such a nice rainbow color? That would be
So,
something I'd be curious
Good
about.
question. The rainbow is a particle effect, and that is one of the most hardcore things that you can be editing in this game. The particle effects, as you've seen, have a lot of rich detail to them, and they look pretty cool. I mean, this rainbow one is a little over the top, maybe, but if I go in here and I copy it, so I go into the particle system editor. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that goes into defining a particle system, all these parameters. And this is probably the most overwhelming part of the tool set that we have. Fortunately, we've seen that people can do stuff with it. You know, they made, Soze made this beautiful rainbow thing. We also have a whole library of particles effects that are already pre-made and ready for you to play around with. So I opened up the particle system library. You can either click down here to activate and deactivate it, or hit F7 to do that. And then in here, there's all kinds of useful effects already. There's, let's see, we have shots of different tools and different weapons, for example. So we have shot flamer. This is fun. You know, that's just a little fire action there. You know, I can move it around as well, which is fun for testing. You know, and this is all, you know, again, live editing everything. You can be tweaking this fire effect and seeing what it has the effect on the scene.
Yeah, whether or
and
not
things.
it beats the meme bot.
Yeah, so we have shotgun is something here too. I can boom it, and it actually fires projectiles out of it that will hurt things if you hit. You know, so I shot the Pixel Soldier kind of in the crotch there. That was unfortunate. And the Pixel Soldier has a kind of an OP thing. So you can see his particle system that he just fired off is a little crazy. I'm going to reset the scene so we can actually see something. But my point is that it is pretty overwhelming to build a particle system from scratch. However, we have all these pre-made ones that you can remix and riff off of. And probably learn a lot about how to make something from scratch as well.
Oh boy,
What's
we just had a special person enter the chat. Danny B Style is here. Danny,
Oh
what's
boy,
up?
Danny!
Oh my God,
Danny
oh my
is
God, we have a special
one
guest,
of my
guys.
one of my dearest friends. He's in Seattle now, but he used to live in Phoenix. And he made most of the music for Cortex Command, so we go back.
Yeah, you honor us,
Quite a
sir.
while.
Thank you for your humble us with your presence.
Yes, absolutely. He's a really funny guy and an amazing musician. I mean, he made music for so many games. He just picked up an award casually at the Game Awards
At
ceremony at
GDC.
GDC, which is probably the highest honor that we have in this industry.
Yeah, for his work on Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yep.
Dude, my dad's an opera singer, and I just keep thinking of him with the Shopkeep. So great job at like including classical opera in the game. I can't believe you actually managed to do that.
Yeah, it's
And he made a plush toy out of it, which I still need to get my hands on. Give to my dad.
awesome. Yeah, so thank you for coming. So you see how this face of Arnie is resisting the fire really well. I can even live edit this and turn it into something else. I can make this into flesh, I believe,
Armored flesh.
or flesh, because it is flesh, right? Like so now next time he goes into the fire, I think he's going to have a different effect. I hope we could do that and actually demonstrate.
Should we reload the scene first?
Possibly. I think I could actually do that live here, but maybe the material doesn't get applied. He would have started, melting at this point already. But yeah, we can certainly go in and change his face here for all the future versions of Arnie. So yeah, isn't that right? The Terminator had like a flesh. I actually had flesh on top of the metal. I think that is totally accurate. So instead of mechanicals material, he's gonna have flesh. Where is it? It's up here. No, where is it? Oh, I lost it. Flesh. I got it. Cool. So now when we spawn him, I save and spawn him into the game. You'll see that his that was that was another thing.
Put the editor in the editor.
Yeah, exactly. That was interesting.
Interception. That's
right. Exactly. So now that's an object in the game. But oh yeah, his face just came off. How beautiful is that? Like, it is flesh and it has a different.
So Hey and Amber's making a good point here. Would you think about doing something like this in 3D? It would be possible, but I think you can imagine that by removing one layer, like one dimension,
yeah.
we have actually been able to go much deeper into making these kind of crazy functions that. If you would do a 3D game, would add so much complexity to them that you would actually have to take a step back from depth.
Absolutely. There's a beauty in 2D in that you don't have to ever. I became Canadian there for a second. You don't have to ever open a 3D program or modeling tool to make stuff for this here in 2D. So, like you've seen me do, I just dragged in an image. I just ran straight into this block in the way of.
Yeah.
But it's really beautiful how quick and easy it is to make stuff for people who don't necessarily feel comfortable with a full-blown 3D editor that they have to buy and or download and install separately and so on. The 2D workflows are so much more easy to streamline and to work with. So I'm gonna fix this editor here.
And I would love for you to show Dropsy, which is one of my favorite characters. It was posted somewhere at the earlier part of the.
If you can find it.
Just I can. What can I do to get it?
Let's see. You could put it in Slack.
I can put it in Slack. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Not in Slack. Into Discord.
Discord. Shall I give it to you?
If you find it, yeah. Personally, you can send me personally a personal message.
I'll send it to you.
If you find it.
I just dragged and dropped it to Discord. Did that respond?
I think it should. Friends? No, I don't see it in. You need to create a direct message.
That's going to be too complicated. But
well, drag it into the.
If you scroll up to the top of the history, we can just go through from
sure.
start to finish because it's not that much.
Okay. So we have all this stuff that has been happening in this Blueprint Share channel on our Discord, which is populated right now by our Pioneer program, which is about 3,500 people on our mailing list, and a lot of them are in this Discord now, engaged with making this amazingness, happen. So it's the stuff that they make can just be dragged in here, and then it automatically gets scraped out into the arena bot or the arena machine that actually is running the simulation 24/7.
So we have a separate computer that's running that simulation 24/7.
Yeah.
And when we're actually working, you'll see us on the webcam feed as well, and you can communicate with us. We might have moments when we're actually really focused and we won't respond, but we'll let you know when we come online through our social channels. And make sure to follow us on Twitch, guys. We are going to be doing. We actually have competitions running. We will be doing giveaways as well. I have some Cortex Command Steam keys lying about, which I can give away. We're just learning how to do all this, so you can definitely count on wanting to come back and stay tuned for more.
Oh, here's this beauty. So yeah, I'm just dropping in this stuff because this is not the streaming machine that has all this stuff already on it. So I'm re-adding stuff that wasn't in here yet.
There's the Lamborghini from.
So what you've seen so far has been mostly our vanilla content, the official stuff that is in there already, and then this stuff that people have made has been added to the streaming machine, which is a separate computer automatically. But this is one of my favorites.
That's Crash's crab neck.
So when I drag things in, they just get added to the library, which means that they get added to the rotation of things. Right now it looks like a total crazy mess in there, but as soon as I reset the scene, those guys will actually be in the rotation for, oh, here we go, Kappa Flip.
Yeah, I made that one.
Yeah, you did.
You know, like you don't need to know programming skills to make cool things.
Yeah.
One of the things I just did is I went to I found a Kappa PNG which was already cut out, and I just replaced the textures. And you know, that's you make something more colorful. You know, you saw the robot; it's gray, it's boring. So I just
Sure, it's dropsy.
replaced every single Limbit hat with the face of Almighty Kappa. There's a little dropsy
Okay, so
there.
Derp Pie never got the Pioneer label. That's something we should remedy right now. So
Yeah.
anyone, what we've done here is given the tools to everyone in the Pioneer program. So they have a build of the editor and so on. That is kind of a pre-release thing, and it's a closed community. But they have the tools, and we challenge them to make something, go through the tutorials that we have in the guides in Steam, and put a twist on it at the end of it. Your personal creative twist. And if you do that, you will get a key for the game. So we encourage them to actually for the contributor edition that comes out now in 2 weeks or so. So Dirt Pie, we are gonna give him the honor. Oh, why can't I do that? Can you help me with that, maybe, Vlad? I don't seem to be able to.
Oh no, it's actually she has to be online in order for you to do that.
Oh, I see.
So it's not something that we can
it's
just
her,
do.
okay.
I believe Derpy is her, as far as I recall.
Yeah. Let's see.
Either way, we don't discriminate by gender and or race or creed. It doesn't matter as long as you make awesome
I
stuff.
can totally add this to her, so I'm gonna do that.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
I think you.
So she's
click
now
on,
a pioneer.
Yeah, you click on program and then you select
Yeah,
roles.
I got it.
It's just
So
super
she's
small.
already done.
Perfect.
So yeah, so now when she made something, we gave her that pioneer label.
Fix that Gracchio.
And now she'll appear here, and at the end of our Pioneer program, which is in 2 weeks, we will give Steam keys to everyone who's made something. And we have a lot of other prizes and so on that we lined up for the best stuff. The really good stuff will actually end up in the item store, the curated item store on Steam, where they can charge money for these things. So if they make a really cool thing, they will be not only have the option to just be in the regular workshop, but they can also kind of be
Well, we handpick
curate.
them, right?
Yeah,
So
we handpick them. I mean,
so if you guys are
only the
familiar
best stuff goes in there.
with Team Fortress 2 and Dota items, what happens is you submit something really cool, and then it gets curated into being picked to be sold if it has that kind of value and that kind of effort has been put into it. Now, this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people because they either haven't really looked into it or they've only heard the basic stuff. But in the end, it comes down to people actually being able to get monetize their content if we deem it worthy, and if it's something that should be outside of the game. Imagine total conversions, cool things that have nothing to do with the actual Planetoid Pioneers games. So you can go really far. We've actually done a total conversion ourselves, which we are happy to show to you guys if you're interested. But let's go down. I want to see more stuff.
Yeah, but hold on. I want to when we're on the topic of
We have
Blueprint.
9 more minutes.
Yep. So I'll close up with this topic we're already on, which is the workshop and how easy it is to publish to the workshop once you've made something, right? So I made a small change to this rover minimal jets so that when I saved it kind of became mine. We do check for that. There's going to be other checks later on to actually make sure once we start curating and putting things into the workshop, the curated workshop. We will make sure that the person and people who collaborated on something actually were the ones that are getting the money and so on. That's going to be down the road, and we can dig into that later. However, I just want to show right now how easy it is to, once I've edited something, I'm in the Blueprint library here, and I click on this workshop publishing group, and I can just create item with one button click. I am now creating an item that gets published to the workshop. I don't have to pick any more images or whatever. It's already there in the blueprint. All the tags and so on have now been packaged and are in the workshop. So you see this thing that I have published is now here in the workshop. The really cool thing to show here is that I can show this item in the workshop right now in the game in our browser. So this is the actual Steam workshop. I just published this. Anyone else can go in here and rate it, favorite it, subscribe to it, and this is the free workshop. So don't think that there's only going to be paid mods in this game or paid user-generated content, the free version of the workshop, the free part of it, the ready-to-use part, as they call it, is absolutely available, and most of the content will be in there, I think. When something gets curated and handpicked by us to be put in the curated workshop in the item store, and get a price tag associated with them, it'll be the top quality stuff that really has certain rules that we will set down, that it follows in terms of the quality and the balance of it and so on. So when you go to the item workshop and actually want something of super high quality, you know that everything in there has been vetted by us, the official developers. And if you pay $3 to $4 or whatever the price points are going to be, they're going to be very reasonable. We're going to make sure of that. You know you're getting something amazing. Like whether it's a robot or if it's a cool weapon or it's a I can make that happen. Boop. So yeah, we can talk. Oh, we don't have any signal on this guy. Probably the battery went out. Yeah.
Yes, the contributor edition is different, Renu. You could see it as a glorified Kickstarter that we're running through early access. We don't want everybody. We want the people who are genuinely interested in what we're doing. And so we might be shooting ourselves in the foot in terms of how many sales we'll have initially, but it's the quality that we care about. We care about people like yourselves that are genuinely interested in creating awesome things and turning your feedback into something tangible for us to work with as well, and just teach yourself how these tools work in order to be able to contribute.
Yeah. So on that note, I mean,
and static screen.
Yes. That's fine. What do you mean?
I mean, when the screen is you're sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
great, cool.
Yes. On that note, it's we're gonna close up here with our highlight to say that this is an experiment, right? We're doing this in a way that we haven't seen anyone else do, right? It's kind of we're blazing a trail, whatever you want to call it. We did that with early access back in the day with Cortex Command. Now we're pushing it to the next level. We really want this to be a new thing that might work or might not work, but it's going to be a fun ride either way. So we're inviting our community to not only tell us what they want in the game, but also make what they want in the game and show us what they want in the game with these tools that we empower them with. So it's a kind of an interesting gamble for us, as Vlad mentioned. We'll see how many people actually are interested in making stuff for this game. Already, it's super encouraging. I mean, our Pioneer program, we have these amazing talented people emerge already who are making all these cool things that I've been showing off. Flaming crabs and cyborg T-Rexes and whatnot. And if that's happening already with the few people we have in the Pioneer program, we are very, very optimistic about what's going to happen during our early access period, which is all about having us on the official development team making official content, but also having our contributor community, anyone who buys this contributor edition, be able to work on this game with us, alongside with us, and if something is really top notch and good enough, we will handpick it and offer them to have that stuff integrated into the official content of the game, and have them get credit for it in the game that then emerges out of the early access period at the end of it.
Exactly, and let's not forget, guys, I don't think we've mentioned this, but the team when I joined last year that was working on Planetoid Pioneers, actually half of them were modders that we hired from Cortex Command. One of the guys who's actually making some of the guides on Steam, MKster Max, is from Berlin, and he was actually one of the modders that I think was we picked up exactly a year ago, back in April, to join us as well. And he's made the amazing grappling hook. He's made the bee gun. He's made some super cool things that you guys might have bumped into already if you have access to the build. Fusion SG, you check out our Steam page, and we should be, we're launching on April 15th with this, and make sure to follow us, guys. We'll be having a lot more things to show. This is our first 2-hour like highlight stream like this. There's just so many things we still want to show in terms of like the weapons, the characters that people have made, but it is pretty intense with so many people watching, so many people asking questions. So
we're all new to this.
Yeah, we're really grateful that you guys have been like telling us, how to adjust our volume, what's happening on the stream.
Yep.
It's very heartwarming, and it's amazing to see that so many people are tuning in and watching this. So make sure to check out the Steam store page. We have an FAQ on what we're planning to do on early access, and yes, we are there with you. We understand that early access has been taken advantage of, has not ever had a solid, thanks for the follow, shape, and so people have taken advantage of that. People have done things. People have never exited early access. We're gonna be honest with you, we don't know what this game is going to look like, because mainly we want you guys to contribute in helping us figuring that out.
Well, so on that note, we do have a good idea of where we want the game to go in the sense of the game design and the game mechanics that are already in there, and you'll see. And I hope you saw it during these 2 hours when I showed off the game itself a little bit. There's a really strong direction that we're taking the beginning experience of the game. However, when you then leave that first Planetoid, anything's possible, right? Like the other Planetoids have completely different. Let me just show you as a closer right now a completely different scenario that we haven't shown off yet. We're going to dig into in the next Friday. We're going to have a lot more in depth on the game itself. But here's just an example Planetoid that I loaded here. I'm gonna make this full screen. Boom. So this, I just traveled from our Colosseum-oid, which was the one the bot arena that we were on before, over to the Race-toid. Here, it's all about racing around the planet. So right now I have, do you guys want to join me on this as we finish this up?
Oh, are we gonna do? Oh,
Play.
Okay, cool.
So
Nice.
I'm handing out controllers to people. Chris can also join here, and I will select the vehicle. So go ahead and wiggle your thing. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you just chose the robot. Good job. That's not
I'm
what we
gonna
wanted.
stay focused on the chat. But
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
guys
exactly.
are seeing right now is
So
our-
Chris is the first guy, and you chose the robot again. Good job.
So what you guys are watching here
So
is
wiggle the controls, and then you choose side to side. Is you don't choose the robot? Yeah, there you go. Press up. There you go. Okay. And now
this is
I'm
the experimental co-op that we guys.
Yeah,
that we
exactly.
have for you
So
guys to show.
we're all going to have vehicles, and you want to get back in there. So hold on A, the A button. Hold it down. Good. Don't get out. Okay, good. Now we're racing. So we're racing around the Planetoid, and someone's going to be left behind. He's riding ghost. He's ghost riding. So there's a dead vehicle in the front, and the physics.
Run you over.
Yeah, you will. So if we leave him behind, which we will, I'm going to leave both of you behind. So the leader is pulling away. Oh yeah. So this is kind of like Micro Machines. When I'm gonna outrun these guys, it resets, and you guys kind of come back into the race at the next. Don't jump out of your vehicle. Didn't you learn your lesson? There you go. And I have a gun, so I can shoot you in the head. I shot your head off.
Take his wheel off.
Yeah, and I died too. But if you keep going, it will leave us behind, and then we'll restart. Here you go. Yeah, you got to hold down the button to get in there. Yeah, there you go. And keep driving. Oh, don't press that button again. You keep pressing. So this is just madness. Yeah. So here we go. We're back in action, but we're dead actually. So we spawned as corpses. So you can keep running. You can keep running on foot.
My car is
Just keep running on foot.
possessed.
Yeah, just keep running on foot. You're the pink one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Pink Ranger.
there
Yeah,
you go.
you actually made
there
it.
you go. Okay, so let's see if we can make it on foot to the end here. So we will respawn as corpses. That is
Okay.
horrible.
What the heck?
And the tentacle is gonna start.
Oh my God.
Oh, he got you.
Oh my
He
God.
got you. Oh, excellent, excellent. So yeah, this is a racing Planetoid, and we almost made it around the whole thing. As you can see, like it's a completely self-contained game that is completely different from anything we've shown you guys so far. It's Planetoid Pioneers is about a bunch of different games that can be made, completely modular in here. Yeah, you're kind of stuck on there. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah, you just run for it. Just run for it.
Okay.
Just run for it. The finish line. No, no, no.
Almost there.
Don't run for the car. Go right. Go right. Go right.
I think it's like the gravity.
My
is taking
controller
it.
is lagging or something.
Oh no, just keep going. Oh yeah, we got a bug here, so you're like all frozen, but it's fine. Keep going.
You can activate his jetpack.
Oh god. And keep going. Yeah, you win. Drew wins. It took you 112 seconds to get around. Yeah, so that was an example of the racing. We're gonna keep racing. I mean, we're done with the stream. Thank you everyone for watching during our highlight.
We're not done yet. I mean, you
No,
can
no,
take a
I'm
break
saying
if you
that
want.
during the
We have-
highlight,
We have
yeah.
3,000 people. I think our highlight is over, which means that viewers might be dropping because we're not front
Sure.
paging anymore.
Sure.
But we're super grateful for all of you guys to tune in. Please click the follow
Oh,
button.
you chose the robot
Well,
again.
we just started. We have so much more stuff that we couldn't fit into these 2 hours to show you. And like I said, if you're not interested in the contributor edition, then feel free to wait. Just keep an eye on us. You'll hear from us a lot more. We'll be at PAX East with a booth showcasing the game.
There's a weapon up here.
It's going to be good question, Skyman Games. You should check out our Steam page, which I'm actually posting on the chat right now. Oh yeah, there we go. Boom. And it will be $39.99 USD
Here's
as
the
a
weapon, here's
contributor
the gun.
edition. We
shoot
are
you in
doing
the
that
face.
for multiple reasons. You
shoot
can
the
read
leader.
the Steam Early Access FAQ to answer all your questions. And thanks for the follows, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, February.
Oh dear.
Yeah, make sure to tune in again.
Oh god.
Wow, what the hell is that?
There's a couple of things, guys, I actually still want to do while everyone's watching.
Yep.
One of the things is that you guys have been asking us to showcase more of the contributor stuff. I'm happy to do that. We also actually have had competitions going.
I think you're
for,
dead.
Best video, best screenshot, and
I think we're all
best blueprints. So we actually are going to do some giveaways right now to our community for that as well. And more importantly, if you have any questions,